I'll have to straighten it out later.
Today is Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. This is a Hannah City Village Council meeting. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. First item is, I'll take a motion to go to public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Pearson. All those,
I can get that. Yeah, I need a roll call.
okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. We are now in a public hearing on the 2022-2023 annual appropriation ordinance.
We don't vote on it during the
No.
open
No.
session, right?
No, this is just the public's chance to weigh in on.
So the deck's the same. It's in the deck. It's the same as what we had the last time. I just made a couple minor adjustments to some of the payroll stuff based upon the information given on the merit increases, but everything else is pretty much the same.
Anybody here to talk about the appropriation ordinance online or in person? Okay, so no input from public. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the 2022-23 annual appropriation ordinance.
So moved.
Motion by Johnson, second by Sidak. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. We are out of public hearing. Down to recognition of guests. Jeff.
All right.
Sharon.
Sharabali.
Yeah, however it comes out. I'm not even sure I say it right. So I just want to start by saying my name is Jeff Shavali, and thank you guys for having me. I'm here to talk to you guys about the possibility of opening up a restaurant/bar and potentially gaming machines down the road. I've been talking to Ron, and we've seen some availability in the strip of units he owns down the street here. Maybe leasing from him, maybe buying in the future, whatever works out financially for the both of us. But just a little bit about me. I moved into Hannah City. I live right down at the end of Main Street with my girlfriend Haley last July. We are expecting a child this August, and I plan to make this town my home for the foreseeable future. I have an aunt that lives down the street as well, so we have some roots here already. But I do plan to raise my family here, and that is a big reason for wanting to open up a restaurant here. I am not new to this in any way. Me and my family currently own and operate 3 restaurants and bars. Marshall's Tap in Bartonville, we're on our 6th year. A few years later, we took over Khaki Jack's in Peoria, and I have now had Bellevue Tap for a year as of yesterday. So obviously living on Main Street, I have noticed a need for a little bit more food in this town. Being so close to Gills and the warehouse, turning into there every night can get kind of crazy. Any given night can be an hour a wait for food or so, And I think they have a fantastic business. It brings a lot to Hannah City, and I would love to be a little part of that. Like I said, I've spoke to Ron a few times, and my father has. He said he would have no problem with us opening up an establishment at his building. So basically, to wrap it up, I'm asking for the board and the village to consider allowing me a liquor license for beer and liquor and a possible license for gaming machines. I have been in the business long enough to realize that just a restaurant doesn't always cut it. Sometimes a little extra from liquor or gaming can really boost the area, boost your business, obviously, to make it more substantial. I would also like to thank Mr. Baylor over there for helping me and guiding me with what you guys were about and where you're at. And really moving into town, he's helped me with several things. So I hope this new venture for me and my family can become a reality. I love Hannah City, and I would love to start my business here. And thank you guys for listening to me. And of course, if you have any questions or guidance for me, I am all ears.
Jeff, have you guys decided what type of restaurant at this point?
So with Bellevue, it's a very, very large restaurant. I don't have any regional things I want to do. I don't want to go with a Mexican flair or anything like that specifically. I'm looking to be a little different than the warehouse in Gills, offering some different things than the home fried stuff and all the goodies they have. But no, nothing super specific. Barbecue, Ron wants. But I want it to be a large kitchen with a smaller menu, but an absolutely delicious menu. I don't want a million things like I have at Bellevue. I just want to dial in on some specific things, keep it nice and clean. And
Keep it simple.
Do you have gaming machines at the other locations?
we have them at all three. And I'm already listed as the president of one of them, so I've been through all that, background checks, all that good stuff.
Do you have an estimated time of when you'd be proposed on this?
I don't think Ron's got any delay with us as far as at least, leasing through him. It is one of those things. I printed off all the paperwork to apply for a liquor license. Obviously, there's a lot of questions in there that I won't have an answer to unless we know, we're going to go forward with something like this. But as soon as possible, really. Like I said, I got a kid coming. I'd love to bring in a little more income, leave my old lady at home so she can take care of the baby. I can say that out loud. Well, I just don't like, the idea of paying for somebody else to raise your children, and just seems like a smart idea for us. So,
yeah. Any other questions from the board?
So basically, I think what you're asking for tonight is, is the board feel favorable that, and they're not voting on anything tonight, they won't vote until you would actually fill out the liquor license and gaming license, which would be the next step. You come back to another meeting and have that prepared, but you don't want to waste your time or move down that path if the board's saying, hey, don't even think about it.
Yes, exactly. Like I said, this is not our first rodeo. I've been through this in obviously 3 different towns now, Bartonville, Bellevue, and the city of Peoria. So it's we're ready when you are. I move quick and fast. I like to get things done. But yeah, I'm just asking for the consideration, basically. Think about it and maybe talk about it a little bit more. See where I can go from there.
Okay.
More of a family style restaurant or more geared towards like a bar setting?
Definitely more a restaurant. We never had a whole lot of food with Marshall's. That kind of dwindled. But with Khaki Jack's came even more food. It's 90% restaurant, and my sales are about 75% food at Bellevue. So that's where I'm geared. I love it. I enjoy being in the kitchen. So that's definitely a big part of it.
All right. Any other questions? I would say get the paperwork filled out and get it back to us, and we can get it before the board for the next discussion.
Our next meeting is May 17th.
Okay.
So if you got the paperwork done, just let me know in advance, like a week before, and I'll put you on the agenda, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jeff.
Ron Goley, sir.
Well, this guy's already given half my speech, so you all know what I'm here for, I believe. When we opened the coffee can, of course, we had expectations of a lot of business in there. It is growing, it is doing well, not as fast as we thought it would. So what I have here is the application for the gambling machines. We've already got the liquors. And pictures of what I want to do. And you'll see in there, I did not, and of course this all started out, I did not want to make this a gambling casino, and I still don't. So I've had a company come in and we did some rendering drawings in there. The first third, first four is all about your application, but the drawings is a very tasteful drawing. We're not going to throw a bunch of advertising out of 116. It's all done by the networking on the gambling, which you could probably lead more into that.
Sure.
More online networking, I guess. We're missing the demographics in the gambling. I don't want to turn it into a bar, which is not going to be a bar, but it'll be a gambling cafe. So we still have all of our 90% of food, coffees, drinks, teas, energy drinks, things of that nature. Again, looking for a little more help to help out on the structure that started off small and got large.
So this is the front can. If you're standing in front of the building, it's the
This-
can to the right.
Yeah, as you're standing and looking at the building, it'd be the can on the right. In the picture, they've got two doors that they've got a lot of advertisement on. I got to have one door in there, then the other door is going to come in the end. Instead of coming in the front, it'll come in the end that faces the coffee can itself. And then they'll just have a row of machines going down inside. Everything would be nice and private and quiet and trying to cater to a different group.
This is adding another container into there, or
No, it's already there.
converting?
It's already there. It's empty right now.
So when have you been through the drive-through?
Yeah.
So it's the can that you order the food off of.
Right.
It's currently empty.
Yeah. Be all inside that can, just be running down one wall.
And if I remember right, Ron, the buildings have to be connected by that little walkway up at the top. Is that correct? Is that what
Well,
the state rules?
it'll be fabric is what that'll be. But yes, the buildings have to be connected. And that's a rule of,
State.
I'm assuming, the state. They'll use the existing bathrooms that are already there. You've got to have the reason for the one door off to the right side is for an area for people to come out and smoke, which is probably a good idea anyway, because I don't have a smoking area for anybody.
So would you even be open in the evenings? Because today you close at what, 6?
Close at 6. Our plans are not to. No. Again, it's. We're going to start doing events and things like that, but it's not like a late type thing. Baby showers, anniversaries, whatever type of events McKinsey puts together.
But I guess my question is, the gaming won't be open in the evening, or will it?
Not late. No.
So it'll close when.
It'll close when coffee can closes. Yeah. Unless it's got an event going or something like that.
So basically, then you won't be necessarily competing much with the other places because I guess they open at 11-ish. Is that when you guys open down at Bellevue?
Correct.
So
Yeah,
then
what
you'd have,
time do you close? The bar's closed.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is 1 a.m. Thursday through Sunday is 2.
Oh yeah.
But we are
no,
normally
no,
closed around midnight.
no. We want to remain the restaurant atmosphere.
so you already have the liquor license.
Citywide, not state yet.
And you're asking for the subclass 2.
Well, again-
license for video gaming. And you're 6.
This is a liquor, so I'm not sure which box
Yeah,
I'm
with-
supposed to be checking
So
up.
very bottom one says subclass 2 supplemental for video gaming.
Okay,
$25 per terminal.
perfect.
And you're
I
looking
had
at
forgot to check that, so
6 terminals. Just the way in the background for the board that the Hannah City Tap, this is what's happened there, is currently not, their gaming is not live, and their license and their liquor license and gaming license ended And so,
And they never showed up for the meeting. They were going to come and ask questions on there in the agenda about getting back up to code either, did they?
no.
Any correspondence with them?
I went over and talked to them right after the fact and told them that if the way our code reads is if the person that owns the license, both liquor and gaming, passes away, that the licenses end and they have to reapply. So I went over to tell them that I wasn't being heavy-handed, that I didn't want them to get in trouble with the state or anybody else, and if they wanted to continue to operate, they needed to reapply for the license. And I didn't imply whether or not the board would approve or not approve those things. I just said that they would be available to do that. And so we had a nice discussion, and they said they'd let me know. And then they called and said that they were wanting to come and talk about it with the board, and we scheduled a date for the meeting and had them on the agenda, but they did not come to that meeting. And I've not heard from them since. I just know that they're not running.
How long ago was that initial conversation?
2 months.
2 months, yeah, probably close.
They were on the agenda
Yeah.
almost a half ago. Then it was a couple of weeks after that where they ended up on the agenda.
Yeah, shortly after Cindy's passing.
Well, I say that for a couple of reasons. One is that we wouldn't be adding, I guess, at this point, gaming to. We might be adding 2 terminals because I think they had 4 and you're looking at 6. And then also, I don't think our code says that we have to vote to add an increased number of gaming.
I don't remember.
I think it's only on the liquor side that you have to add those. But I guess even at this point, we would not be adding any. I guess we'd be adding 2 terminals. And then there's also income. So the income we were getting from those 4 terminals and the city's portion is we haven't been getting for the last couple of months as well. I'm not suggesting that means we should vote for it. I'm just giving you background information.
Have you applied for your state license yet, for liquor license yet?
Getting insurance quotes right now because we got to have our insurance in place first, I guess, before we apply to the state. But that's
Do you
in the
know
process.
you have to have the state liquor license before you can get gaming?
Yes. Yeah, because the same with ours. I mean, you have to have that before you can serve alcohol. So therefore, our regulation for the gaming wouldn't be valid either. Then.
Yeah. So if we voted tonight to approve it, it would have to be tentative or not usable until you got your state liquor license.
Right.
But you're probably not going to have them in there tomorrow anyway.
No, I got a little bit of work to do.
So we do have it on the agenda for vote tonight. So.
You were about it changing the atmosphere of the can at all, or perception?
I am, and I actually took quite a few polls with a lot of people. I think it'll be all right, and if it did do damage, I'd be jerking it back out anyway.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine. Most people, there's a demographic like my wife. My wife doesn't drink,
Yeah.
doesn't want to go to the bar and gamble. She'd probably sit there all day and play those things.
Yeah.
Farmers' wives, farmers. There's just a lot of people that are during the daytime that are playing in the mornings that are playing them. So, with as discreetly as that's being put together at the can with just the railings and stuff outside, and again, it's I don't want to put up all kinds of casino signs and all that. I just not there. Would it hinder on what that brings in for dollars? It might a little. But I still think that there's a group on the line that follows the machines during the daytime.
Dreamy follows them online. I guess I don't know much about them.
I don't either. Is there a group?
There is a lot of offers from whether you go with Excel or Gold Rush or whatever game. They have different promotions and stuff. And I would say there's, in the early hours of the day, you don't get rowdiness. You don't get behavior like that. You really don't.
Well, I mean, you said people online that follow them. Is there some sort of like promotions that the groups that run them do or something that these people
I think
kind of go establishment to establishment to play or something? Or
Like the coffee community, I think there's gambling communities.
yeah,
That's the way it was being explained to me.
There is definitely, I mean, Hannah City's got its own Facebook groups and stuff.
Yeah.
That's not even official, And
so is there like video gaming Facebook groups where they go to different establishments around the area and like those machines are cold or?
I wouldn't say in this situation.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't say that's the online following I'm talking about, but they might like you more if you're running a better promotion.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
would say.
I do know people. I do know a guy that that online base. I don't know where it is, but you can see which machines have hit recently, right?
You can go on the Illinois State website
Yeah.
and look at any location anywhere in Illinois.
So I know a guy that looks at the machines to see the last time they've hit, and he'll go to places
That are due.
that are due and
I
to
don't-
play them.
I don't know where you would find the report for each specific machine. I know you can see it as a whole on ISVE, what the location did. As bar owner, poker games owner, you would get a report of each individual machine. I think in Ron's defense, you'd be looking at if you know anything about like Mama Dean's in Bartonville.
Not really.
It's a
I haven't been
cafe.
up there.
It's very nice. It's a cafe game. It's super quiet in there, super clean.
So it's like a breakfast lunch cafe type place that's got machines in it.
Exactly. There's no food even. It's just,
Oh, really?
It's just straight cafe, and they Bartonville finally gave them their liquor license. But it's like they're at Dizzy Dean's, and it's like their moms are at Mama Dean's. I swear, it's just how it works. It's not the crowd in a place like he would have that you'd be worried about.
Yeah.
Or I.
I'm not gonna say no to it, I guess.
So is that a motion?
Yeah, I mean, I'll make a motion. It's not adding any to town, and it's gonna have a different atmosphere than the rest of them too. So
I'll second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Weaver. Any further discussion?
I don't know. I just don't know if more gambling is what we really need. I think it's if we're going to get into a rut of just every establishment wants to have games, and it's going to do something to us. Just it's like the atmosphere.
well, we'll have the same amount of places that have it, which is kind of my push.
It just I'm not too keen on gambling, anyways. I don't know if a cafe that I see lots of high schoolers at having gambling machines. I know it's discreet, but I just don't know if that's the best route to go.
They are in a lot of restaurants that teens are in too.
Gildan's got them at warehouse. These are in a totally separate building that they're not allowed to walk into.
Any further discussion? The one thing I can say is I know that we are not currently have those ones from the tap that are producing any income that we've had open and available. With them not renewing it, that is our percentage that we're not getting back on those. So
The fact it's a totally different flavor too. It's the coffee shop and not a bar, not a straight gaming parlor, separate building. We're down the taps machines. People want to play them, that's their own decision. I'm not gonna play moral place for them or whatever,
Yeah, if you had come in initially and said I want a coffee shop and gaming shop, I would have been a lot more hesitant. Seeing what you've built and how it looks and the feel of it all, a little more comfortable. And seeing this, it's a separate thing.
Build some trust equity.
Yeah, I know you're not.
Appreciate that.
Especially, I'm glad you said no splashy signage and stuff like that too.
Again, I'm not. It's still makes me a little nervous, but I think it'll be fine just from where I'm seeing everywhere else. I've been now to 6 or 7 cafes, nowhere around here, in my travels. And they're really not, it's kind of like the warehouse without the bar. You know, you just got people there. You go to, and it's just quiet. It's just a really nice atmosphere that people like my wife. In fact, Mackenzie's mom and dad enjoy going and playing in a place like this versus sitting in a bar, listening to the kids and shots and everything going on. So I just think there's a demographic there that we're missing,
I don't think so.
that we do not have.
Well, we could say.
Yeah, okay. Because I'm on the same page, Zach. I get that. If it's you seeing it used as something to accentuate a business that's already existing is kind of what helps me, and that we have a few open. But yeah, every business coming in here does make me a little worried for that, but I like the angle that this is coming at. So
We've been pretty stingy with them, I think.
yeah.
So,
and I'm not saying that to foreshadow any negativity about what you're proposing either, because that's a separate thing too. I love the idea of a family restaurant company. We definitely need some more of that, and I would love to see something go in that spot.
How about Italian? It's Chiaravalle. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, obviously today he hasn't got any Italian going.
What Refuel has 6.
Gills has.
Does Gills
Warehouse.
have 5, or Warehouse has
skills have any?
5 or 6?
No, Gills
No.
doesn't have
Warehouse
a
has
warehouse.
I think they got 6 sitting there. I think she added one when the law went to 6.
And then the other is the Sportsman's Club. They have 6.
Sportsman and Refuel. Yeah.
Well, you got 24 total, so you can figure it up from there. There's 4 tap down there, so that leaves 20.
Yeah.
Refuel's got 6, so there's another 12.
Everybody's at 6.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right. Okay. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion passes. 3-1.
Do we have an actual gaming license that we print out like we do the liquor license?
Do we have what?
Do we have an actual like certificate that we print out? For the game?
No, what we've done is we put class A, subclass.
Okay, so we would need to add that to your liquor license. Then once you get your state license, we would need to add it to that certificate I gave you for your liquor license.
Okay.
No, I would just.
I do have a question on events. I was noticing on here as I was filling this out. Am I required to come pay you guys $50 to have an event on the roof or anything?
No, they granted you a license for a beer garden.
Okay.
Yeah, these are just, I think if somebody wants to hold
A special
a
event,
special event,
Yeah.
some-
like when the park district has.
The firemen for the
Yeah.
pork chop dinner, technically they would have a $50, but
Yeah.
the park district and firemen will always waive it because they're trying to raise money. So
But your initial request, yeah, you're good with that.
Okay. Good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We look forward to seeing them.
Huh?
We look forward to seeing the events.
They're coming. It's slow coming, but they're coming. Furniture's up on the deck.
I saw that.
I sat up there and ate my lunch the other day in the wind.
You better get some umbrellas because it's going to get sunny quick.
Well, I'm working on, which obviously will take a little while, but sails. They're, instead of umbrellas, putting up aluminum poles everywhere and just doing the sails and the nighttime little lighting, getting the ambiance going.
Okay. Thank you. Online, Jake Guppy, did you have anything? Oh, Jake's no longer there.
No.
Jake's gone. Roger Orr, did you have anything, sir? Are you just observing?
Yeah, he's here for the discussion on that.
I just wanted to listen in and answer any questions you had regarding the skid loader later on.
Danny Pearson?
No, I don't have anything, but barbecue does sound good.
Come on. Barbecue Italian.
Thanks, Danny.
I'll
With
make
the
it.
little Mexican, with the little Mexican thrown in there.
There you go.
Dennis? Dennis Speck, did you have anything?
Oh, he's here for the skidster. He works at Bobcat.
No, Dennis is?
Nothing at this time. So.
That Dennis Speck.
I'm assuming.
Oh,
I only know one Dennis Speck.
I know none.
Before you should have a copy of the previous minutes meetings from the April 19th meeting. I know these have been scoured.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool.
You better read them.
Make a
Michael
motion to
Scott,
accept the
so God
minutes
bless
as submitted.
I have a motion by Johnson,
Second.
second by Sidak. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Big lot.
And we're up to the treasury report. Cassandra?
Everything's pretty standard. There is one error on this that Tony pointed out to me on for a $6.14 invoice that's not on the check. I don't think that'll sway your decision much, but it is an error that's on this. I don't know how it happened. So.
Carpet bombing again.
Otherwise, everything else is pretty standard.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report. Feel that's in the middle.
Motion by Johnson. Second by
Put a little caveat in there for the missing items.
Bills that may or may not appear in the report.
It appeared on the report, but it's not on the
Weaver, you
check.
seconded that, right?
Oh.
Rod, you seconded that.
I don't know how.
So I have a motion by Johnson, second by Weaver. Any further discussion? Roll call it. Weaver?
Yeah.
Pearson?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mr. Lott, you are up, sir.
I don't have anything that's not somewhere else on the agenda.
Why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about the meeting that you and I and Jim had?
Okay. Last Wednesday, Brian's request, Jim, Brian and I sat and just talked a little bit about long-term planning. I think that Brian's foresight with respect to the roads has been a great thing. Instead of just saying, where's the worst 30 grand every spring, trying to have a 5-year plan. We recognize it's fluid. We've had some opportunities in the last 2 years to have different pots of money that haven't always been available to be able to generate a plan, and not only MFT funds, but general funds, to put together a 5-year plan to do our best to get ahead of things, to be more proactive. It's going to be a challenge, always is for small communities, but I think you're light years ahead of where you used to be. And we were able to execute that this year, and we'll continue to do that. And that's one fund of many, as you know, and water and sewer is a similar opportunities exist there to do that. So the question was, can we do that as well? The water is a little bit different. You have a distribution system. You don't do treatment. You buy it bulk and distribute it. Collect utility bills and then pay one big utility bill yourselves, as opposed to your sewer system where it's yours now, especially now that you own and operate the lagoons. Both of the systems that you have are in different states of repair. Some of them are quite old. Some of them haven't had as much attention as anybody would probably like. With the water system, you've also got the tower, which has always been sort of looming out there. So the questions were, can we begin to develop 5-year plans or 10-year plans or 20-year plans with respect to how we might fund and kind of balance up our incomes and expected expenditures with a plan in place. Again, recognizing that it might be fluid depending on what regulatory environment you're in, which really does affect water and sewer in the state. So we sat down and kind of, we can do all kinds of different things. We've many communities, and we've done it for you in the past. We can do studies, we can do modeling, we can look at your system and run computer models and tell you where your best bets would be to expand water mains. Another part that you can do is if you start to look at long-term planning and serving large swaths of area that you might annex in the future. If you had a large industrial complex coming in, or a particular high use user, how do those things affect you? Sometimes this planning can coincide with comprehensive planning or long-term planning. That's maybe one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is to say, Jim, you've been here a long time. What needs fixed first? And that's not a bad way to do things. And so we kind of found a little bit of a hybrid there. I think certainly we picked Jim's brain a little bit. We have some mapping that we've done. We've not done very much in the 20-some years I've been here, other than kind of utilize the existing maps that were on the books when I got here. To be able to build an inventory and put together where would we spend money first if we had money. It's never enough, just like anything else. And so I think we had a great start. I think it's going to take a while, and I did mention to you, I put all that stuff on Jim's desk. He's got his worksheets now that he can begin to kind of help us prepare this inventory and look to see where's the oldest stuff, where is it at least most likely to need repair. You'll recall that in 2011, we lined about 25% of your sewers. And at that time, we talked about setting money aside to be every 5 years to go in and try to knock out another 10 to 20% of your sewers to do lining projects. Some of these utility projects, similar to roads, but not always the same, you're better off to spend a bunch of money. Going and putting in 40 feet of water main every year is not an effective way to do water main. So sometimes larger capital projects, saving for 5-10 years and doing something large can be more effective with water and sewer. So we are in the process of beginning to prepare those plans. I think we had a great conversation, a little bit more information from Jim, put together some things for you to consider. And I think, and then maybe you can fill in how that might affect how you do your budgeting. I think you had a great start this year. We talked, I think, bigger picture. Should we be putting money into trails or low interest loan payments for the loan you already have, into the tower? What are the big picture first? Big picture, where should we be allocating money? I think here, as we go through this process, you'll be able to see how this affects both your utility rates and your long-term capital plans, where you put funds. So I think it was a good first discussion. I think we've got some work to do. I brought back to Jim everything I promised him. So I think we look forward to the next meeting and then really honing down on begin to bring to you something similar to what the roads are. It's not maybe as formal as the MFT is every year, but to begin to say, all right, what's the next project here, and is it the right project to do?
Yeah, so we've already, when we built the budget this year, we already started putting additional dollars back for water and sewer, albeit that was kind of arbitrary. We didn't really know what we needed to spend, but something's better than nothing, so we began that process. We did decrease the water tower. We kind of created on the water side buckets of funding. So we've got the ARPA funding, which is the, COVID funding, to do the meters and maybe to do some needed replacements of the hydrants. And then maybe the meters will lead us to understanding the loss better. We talked about whether or not we should hire another company to help us search for the loss and go ahead and spend another $5 or $6 grand to see if the meters don't answer the question, to look at that before we go a step further. We kind of resolved ourselves that if the tower is going to get done, it's going to get done because we get a grant most likely, or we borrow. So that's not going to require an additional amount of added capital set aside. On the sewer side, I was surprised that between what's already been replaced with new and what has been lined, we were thinking that about 60% of the sewer had been covered in the last, 10 years? 20?
Yeah, I think if you did 2 more projects similar to what you did in 2011, you would have everything at least new as of the 80s, or having been lined or repaired since.
So on the sewer side, what you were talking about, the stuff that you gave Jim, is you already had a map what was new and when it was replaced, when it was lined. And Jim was going to go through and add his thoughts to it in regards to, okay, if these are the spots that need to be done, then I think this one needs to be done first and this one second. And then we were going to have another conversation about that once he got that work done. And then we talked about the lagoon and the things that would need to be done there, but I think they're a little bit farther out into the future and we're probably in decent shape there. So it's the beginning of a process to, like he said, ultimately get to a place where we can lay in front of you a plan that says we need X amount a year to do the things that we think we need to do in order to maintain the kind of water and sewer system the way we've got the plan. And then the next step is, if we're going to do a road, this is what Caleb keeps banging on me about, is why do a road if the next year you've got a plan to dig it up to, do something else and you've already done something on the road. So then we got to bring all those plans together. But I guess the key point is we're being proactive and moving forward on that stuff and starting to think about funding. So it's exciting rather than just something breaks and we go fix it.
Yep. We lined the town the first time. Did we TV the whole town?
No.
Okay.
Now you did it was before my time.
Okay.
I want to say late 80s. Excuse me, late 90s. And I was in 98. So late 90s, sorry.
80s, they didn't have cameras.
No. So I have the reports. And
so there's 40% of the town that is either not new plastic pipe or hasn't been lined.
Right. Likely the original clay tiles.
How much would it be? How value would it be just to TV that 40% just to know? Because there may be areas that aren't eligible for lining. We may have something with John Belly in it that just needs open, excavated, and replaced.
Correct.
And that would tell us a lot right there. Otherwise, we are kind of guessing some of these stretches in between manholes that we've never seen for 40 years, 30 years.
Yeah. And that's kind of what, look to Jim to say, does he have, let's say we were budgeting.
I mean, obviously at TV for your line it anyway. So if we did have one slated to be lined and we TV'd it and saw that this thing just needs for play, we can't line that.
But if we say, all right, you've got $30,000 a year, and we can collect $100,000 to $100,000 project, and Jim right off the bat has easily $100,000 worth he knows need to be done.
Yeah.
Is it better to spend that there versus going and analyzing? And that's kind of where we're at right now. Is as Jim is putting this together, is if let's pick a number here. We have 10,000 feet of sewer that's either original or we know has not been repaired or lined.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So can we find projects out of that 10,000 feet first before we go looking for additional projects? So that's kind of where we're at right now. And he's got what he needs now to begin to do that. But you're exactly right. First step is to do some sort of analysis.
Well, things are so much different than even then because you can lateral launch with the robot with the cameras now and check the status of those. And I mean,
even in the
they can mark other they can mark slip joints on the. I mean, what they can do now compared to even 10 years ago with those lining the laterals if it is in great shape. I mean, identifying ones that hey, you need to replace your lateral or fix it because this thing's separated and it's just part of our infiltration problem.
It is, and that's sort of the other thing too. Is where can you find things that are bang for the buck?
Yeah.
If you've got areas that you're having infiltration, which costs you money, and you're pumping, you pump the stormwater. So you actually save money by fixing older sewers. Yeah. And the same with water, as we go in and either loop or replace where we have bad spots, you have less leakage, you're paying for that. So it's return on investment sort of thing beyond having updated infrastructure. So those are the sorts of things we talked about.
Would you have any trepidation replacing mains before we did the tower?
Water mains?
Yeah.
No. I think that there are opportunities.
We know what that new tower would be then, and you wouldn't be concerned with just starting at a new one and working out. You can.
I think there would. I don't think I would do starting here. I think I would look for opportunities to loop to improve your system at its existing fringes.
We talked about that. There's several places. We got documented the places where we need to loop. The other problem we've got is piping size, right? Because what we got 2 inch in some cases.
2s and 4s.
Yeah, they were limited in some places by the size of pipe at the edge of town. You couldn't add capacity. You couldn't add a house if you wanted, or add a main if you wanted to.
And that's where it's easy to dig a deeper hole, if you will, and start to say, well, where are we going to grow? Should we replace the 4-inch main up Murphy? If someday you're going to have subdivisions up the wazoo up there, should we not be putting a big 8-inch trunk up there? And that's a little bit more difficult to think big term. And I don't know if anybody has those answers right now.
Yeah.
But there are enough necessary little loops and capital projects.
Place where the main is already in good enough shape or properly sized that you could just loop it and be good there. You wouldn't have to worry about replacing that main.
I don't want to call them Band-Aids because they're not. They're good projects, but I think that the big long-term, where does the industrial plant go, might be step 2 as opposed to kind of coming up with a nice 5-year plan of where we see things today. Because the other part of it too is sometimes these large studies and modeling, and again, it's what I do for a living, those cost money that might be best spent knocking out the things that need to be done.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe that's step 2. Maybe that, I hate to say do it without a plan, but I think
we know
Jim has higher priorities than a plan.
Yeah, we know we have 2-inch mains that are too. I mean, that's too small no matter what.
Exactly. So we had good discussions. I think we're, on a good road. It's going to be a little bit slower than it was with the roads, pun intended. But we're starting down that path.
How long does a lining usually last?
That's a good question.
Yeah, they're getting better and better at it.
I think it's at least, 15 years?
If not more. Yeah, if not more. I mean, it restores the integrity of the pipe. It's fiberglass and, pipe is clay.
There's multiple different kinds of lining now.
There are.
Even in
it's
area,
come a
there's
long way.
Yeah.
It is, especially in older parts of town where you're digging up streets. It is an economic way to get it done. There are some disadvantages. I can think about when we first started this. I think Jim's come a long way. I know I have. The technology is a lot better, and there are more people that do it. The prices are much lower. It is
even just locally in our local. I mean, whole different brand, whole different new brand.
Yeah, it's the way to go in your local part of town.
Ironically, I was just watching a show the other night on lining pipes, and they actually have a product they call it Lifetime.
Yeah. Some of those,
and some now, instead of just doing the fiberglass with the rubber backing on them, now it's a hard, once it sets, it's a hard shell. So even if your old clay pipe degrades, you still have some integrity.
Yeah, you don't need the clay.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's the way to go in the older parts. Now you start to get out some of the newer subdivisions or out to cornfields where you've got a pipe that might be easier to repair, something like that. But especially
been run over 50 million times by a tractor.
Right. Yeah, we've had. I know we had good luck with it. We did, like I said, about 9,000 feet back in 2011. So Jim will take a look at that. I think his recollection is a little bit different than mine, so we'll see. He wins, so we'll get him to review all that stuff.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, it was a good discussion. Look forward to continuing. Yep, that's all I have that's not covered elsewhere.
Thank you, Brandon.
You guys don't have to stick around if you don't want to.
I told him.
Ron doesn't have anything better to do.
Yeah. Oh, I knew that. I was talking about that.
The engineer will drive you out here.
Can you line a line?
Yeah, probably. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
I figured if you only got 15 years, I was just curious if you could reline a liner.
Yeah, I mean, you do lose capacity, but it's not significant sometimes, and because it's much smoother, it's actually more efficient. What problem is when the pipes start to break and you get bellies or roots, and then you just can't. There's no pipe left.
Michael?
Mr. Mayor, not much to report on from my end. We got the notice of the meeting time change published in PJ Star, I believe. And so come next meeting, we'll be starting at 6.
Assuming we vote yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, correct.
Good job.
We're doing 6 a.m., right?
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'm here.
That's fine. There's plenty of room in the basement. We hadn't said anything to anybody about what Bill had called us about and talked to us.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So, I don't know if you want.
I wasn't going to bring it up because I haven't told some other clients yet.
Okay.
I wouldn't want it in open session.
Okay.
But thank you.
Okay, administrative report.
Okay, you've got something in your deck there with some bullet points. I'm not going to go over all of them in details. The water rate letters are out, and the billing change will happen this month's bill. We talked about water and sewer planning. The duplexes over on Murphy, not far from where Caleb lives, those properties have been purchased, and we've been working with the developer there about some everything from the possibility of them raising them and putting up 2-story apartment buildings in there that would have to go to planning and so forth. But there's some things happening there that in that area.
How many apartment buildings are there in town?
I think there's buildings. I think there's only
Buildings or apartments?
three.
4?
Both.
Well, there's a house that's split in half. I guess apartment buildings 3.
Well, it depends on what you want to classify as apartments. You got a lot of duplexes.
That's not
As far as
apartment.
apartment buildings, I'd say
It'd
3.
be, yeah, more not duplexes.
The one down by Park District, and then there's one back.
Well, there is
Also
one on the
A.
other side of the storage unit.
Yeah, back there, it's a 4th.
Oh, and I guess you kept out by the lagoon, the senior of those apartments, the senior.
Tentatively, yeah.
Those would be apartments technically, yeah. So 6 maybe. Yeah.
Not many.
It's a lot for the little town.
It's good.
So we're working on year-end closing right now. Hope to have that done around the 12th, and then we'll pass that off to the auditors and begin the auditing process. We did go through Cassandra's done a nice job of simplifying our account structure and our budget structure. I think we went from 28 some separate bank accounts down to like 4. And then we simplified the system and locus and so forth. So that's going to create some efficiencies that we're excited about. As far as the trail, the Surface Transportation Board did approve our motion to withdraw our desire to go after that. So that has happened. IDNR has not, I think we're fine. We filled out all the paperwork to say we don't want the grant anymore, but I've not gotten an official letter back saying you're done. So I've been working with Janaki to ask him, when's that going to happen?
That also takes over a year to approve.
Yeah. And then as far as getting the percentage of the money back from Farmington and Peoria County, Farmington has paid their amount, and Peoria County has a meeting, I believe, on the 12th of this month, so I'm assuming no vote on that there. But I've got agreement in principle that they're going to pay their portion, so we'll get $45,000, something like that, back of the due diligence expenses that we spent.
We'll put that back in the trail account. Just
for now.
For keepsy-sakesies.
Yep. Cassandra's also started helping us with grants, and so she's getting educated and searching for grants online for the water tower and some other things. So the efficiencies we've gained there, we're picking up and doing something with that. I was happy. Tracy put together a plan on golf carts to where we had a 2-day. It was today and yesterday. If you had a golf cart, you could bring it up here to the water tower, and for free, we would inspect it and do everything, and you wouldn't have to pay the normal $50 and get your license. We had 4 people take us up on that, which I think was more than. I think we had 2.
We had 3 yesterday and 3 today.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay, so 6. I thought we only had 2 and 2.
Oh, that's way more than
Yeah. Roger, how many did we have?
I'm thinking 6. 6 total.
Yeah, and I think, what do we probably have in town? 10, 12?
I don't know.
Tracy had estimated 15.
About 20 probably.
Yeah, there's like 10 on my road. So.
Yeah. It might even be around 30.
I got one in my garage that I don't even drive because I don't have a permit.
So I still think we probably need to, at the end of the day, we probably still need to have a discussion on, how do we police that? The most important thing is I don't really care about the $50 or whatever. I want people just to be safe, and that's why we do it. And so I'm glad that 6 showed up, but we'll keep working on that. And that was Tracy's good idea, and Roger helped do the inspections. So thank you guys. And then just a heads up, the National Day of Prayer is this Thursday, and as per usual, that'll be held here in the Village Hall at noon for Hannah City. Fred will be leading that.
Is that out here in front of the building?
If it's nice weather, if it's not, they'll do it. Yep.
What is it, Thursday?
National Day of Prayer. So Fred hosts a thing up here at the Village Hall.
Oh.
Every year since.
What time is that?
Noon.
Most of the time we pray for Caleb.
And me. It's funny that it keeps going year after year. It doesn't help.
Yeah. Anything else, Brian?
Slow progress.
No, that's it. Thank you.
We got to build momentum, 8-10 years down the road.
I agree.
Before you, everybody should have a copy of the 2022-2023 appropriation ordinance. Brian and Cassandra did a lot of work going through this. getting our numbers down to more realistic numbers.
Yeah, so last year we approved a $400,000 loss budget, which we knew wasn't going to be the case, but that's what we approved. This year we're basically break even. I mean, we were right at break even, $200 one way or the other. So
Really trying to hit off the button instead of just
trying to be realistic. So our reporting is better, and we truly get a better understanding of our costs. So now, granted, there's capital numbers in there that may or may not get spent. So,
But those capital numbers are more realistic. Too.
They are.
They're not.
just like give this a whirl.
Give this $10,000.
And they're based upon cash flow, but knowing that we're going to have those dollars available.
What is the total on this?
Say what?
That is the total.
The very end total?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it 1.3 or
1.367 760.95.
And that includes, so that's more than just the general operating budget, because that includes BDD, MFT, TIF, everything.
And that also includes our getting the other part of the Rebuild Illinois grant.
Correct. I think this is the last year for the Rebuild Illinois, isn't it, Brandon?
I believe that's correct.
MFT, and then of course standard water, sewer.
It's pretty much what we've been going over.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we've been doing.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Johnson, second by Sidak. Any further discussion or comments? One final comment is, again, thanks to Brian and thanks to Cassandra for all the hard work you guys have put in on this. Really, I'm giving you credit. Come on. But you got to input the numbers and do all that legwork too. So thank you very much for doing that. Any other comments? Roll call it Pearson.
Yes.
Sidak.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Motion carried. Police and planning. Mr. Johnson.
From 4:10 through 4:30, there's 49 incident reports. I'm assuming all those are correct.
That includes EMS and everything. So.
Yeah, anything at all.
Anytime the county responded to an incident.
I'm not even sure if it's every time they respond. There's some things that say like remote something. I'm not sure what that means. So I don't know if that is activity for a previous call that they did and they weren't actually here, but
They were doing investigation maybe.
yeah, I don't know. There's some stuff on there. I'm not even sure if that's actually an in-person response every time or if it's an inquiry into something in town remotely. So then we were talking about possible apartments or possible changes in some property that's been bought. So yet to be determined. End of report.
Thank you. Sanitary sewer, Mr. Pearson.
Yes, sir. You have in front of you a rotary tiller purchase proposal. This is, my understanding, to replace one that is either outdated or not working correctly for up at the lagoon.
He's patched it together quite a bit.
Yeah. Brian has more details to share.
It's just the tool he uses to maintain the sand filters at the lagoon.
But it should last longer from what I've been told because it spins backwards from a normal tiller. So instead of every time instead of every time it hits a rock or something in that jarring that's been shearing the pins on the other one, it'll actually pull it out of the ground instead of jamming itself up and snapping chains and things like that. So
Could we open up goose hunting by any chance?
Well, I tell you what,
just gonna get right outside the city limits.
Say yes to that.
Oh,
Jim would love you. We could.
I can't even get my dog to respond to a duck now.
So I'll make a motion to approve the $2,500 for the rotary tiller purchase.
Second.
I have a motion by Pearson to approve the $2,500 for the rototiller, second by Johnson. Any further discussion? Roll call it. Sidak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
End of sanitary sewer reports.
Real quick,
On the appropriations ordinance, do we have to do anything with it?
Yeah,
within
you
30
gotta
days,
file it.
certified copy with the county clerk.
Yeah, that's what the back is. I've already signed.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's been having you go.
Pearson Water?
Yes, sir. I have 3 escrow refund checks for a total of $300.
That is it.
That is it for water.
Buildings and grounds, Mr. Weaver.
Nothing to report on the buildings and grounds.
It's an alleys, Mr. Weaver.
We have the MFT proposal of the vote.
Brandon, you want to speak to that?
As I mentioned last time, we, as soon as we could, we put the program out for the seal coating in town. We had 3 people pull plans and 2 bids. Is that correct? I believe that's correct, right? Two bids as we spoke last time, and we were able to get a competitive number from a company out of Rock Falls. As you see on the tabulation of bids provided here, UCM, who we're used to here in Peoria County, was at $73,765. Porter Brothers out of Rock Falls, Illinois, same amount of work for $50,140.54. So savings of $23,000, almost 50%.
So we can hit the pause button here. We recognized Roger at the last meeting for his good work on this, but since he's with us tonight, I want to recognize him again. That's a job well done, and it was so well done, Peoria County followed suit and is also using Porter Brothers.
That is a $1 million project.
That's $1 million project. Great job, Roger.
Absolutely, sir. So we've got in front of you, you had, two bids, one apparent low here, and in front of you would be the acceptance of that proposal for your vote, the amount of $50,140.54, if so accepted. Anthony.
Who pulls and never puts a number?
Huh? I can't remember who the third person was. Happened to me today. I had another bid today. I had all kinds of glitches. They just decide not to.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's that competitive out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen some of this stuff, but it's very competitive up there, and they can be selective.
Yeah.
Just blacktopping.
The project I was doing today was totally different Creek work, but we've seen some of these, and then I had another project last week that was just grading work. I was down southern Illinois. Had 3 pulled, only 1 bid. Yeah, there's enough work out there. You can choose the one you want to go after. I think that's my opinion. So anyway, in front of you today is opportunity to look at two proposals, one parallel bidder.
I'll entertain a motion to the board accept the bid of $50,140.54 by Porter Brothers for MFT project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Weaver. Second by Sidak. Any further discussion? Roll call that. Johnson?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Motion carries.
What do we need to do on that?
You need to sign those, I think, and I did Joe tell you? I don't have them in front of me. I think I gotta have those signed, and we'll get them back to INET.
So he signs those, give them to you, and we're done.
I think so. The only thing, Brian, I didn't know if you wanted to comment, this is the MFT portion of this. There are opportunities to utilize some of your general funds to expand this program.
Roger is,
Just keep it separate here.
I think Roger's going to be working with Porter Brothers to get a separate bid on, which street is it, Runkle?
Yeah, it's Runkle.
But we have to have a completely separate bid to pay for it out of our funds, but it would still be within the scope of this year's plan, of the 5-year plan.
It would. Separate from what we're doing here, but related, and a great opportunity. Again, speaks to Roger and his good work. That's all I have on that.
Thank you, Brandon. And thank you again, Roger, for your due diligence.
Thank you.
Second item is the skid steer proposal. Everybody's got copies of 3 bids that we got.
Just in the way of background, I went through the numbers last time, Rod, when you weren't here. If we look at our full year estimated surplus of taking out what we've spent and the capital money we've set aside, I believe we're going to have around $75,000 worth of surplus at the end of this year. And so we laid that out as the groundwork for we'd be allocating a portion of that 75 to get the skid steer quote.
The Flickinger quote is pretty much out. So we have the cat and the bobcat. And you can see the price is pretty much the same because the bobcat price includes the $3,900 for the Chevy truck, which the Caterpillar does not. Caterpillar did not. All four for there's 2 cats. Didn't want to pick up.
It's a smaller machine, right? The one that's
The 239 is well, they're pretty similar.
Oh, okay.
I think the horsepower's about the same. The lifting capacity is better on the Bobcat.
There's a comparison sheet in there between the Bobcat and the Caterpillar that Roger put together. Shows you that it's got 2 columns. It looks like this. Here's the
okay. In the stapled one, it's the very back.
Gotcha.
Could you go, Roger?
Rated operated.
Roger's been testing the Bobcat for, I think we've had it for a week or better. And
Yep.
he actually went over and tested the cat too.
Is this one the Bobcat have? Is this the 2-speed one or?
Yes, it has 2-speed. Yep.
So it's got like the road gear, I guess. It's only that fast, but still faster.
Yep, sure does.
Both machines are fairly comparable.
Yeah. The lifting capacity, there's a decent amount more weight than a Bobcat can handle. That's kind of crazy for the same machine almost.
Roger said he could go either way, but kind of leaning towards the Bobcat.
The fuel tank's way bigger on the Bobcat too.
It's a little bit more convenient to get the Bobcat than it is Altorfer. Not a whole lot more, but
yeah.
I know parts would be cheaper Bobcat than it would Cat.
Easy now.
One advantage that the Cat had, Bobcat didn't, was the Cat was a 5-year warranty. The Bobcat was a 2-year warranty. But Roger had talked to the Bobcat salesman, and he said that for $1,300, you could extend the warranty to 5 years on the Bobcat, and that he would split that with us, so it would only be $750.
Like bumper to bumper, basically.
Bumper to bumper. That's not like tracks or anything.
Yeah. Not wear items.
Wear items, but yeah, bumper to bumper. So
That's not that bad.
I would definitely do the extended warranty for $750, and that's one part.
That's one thing.
Yeah, our half would be $650, Rod. Actually.
Yeah, $650. Yeah.
Yep.
One thing I noticed on the Bobcat is it said it's rear camera ready. Had you thought about putting
No, that would be included, Caleb, when they do the safety lights and
it
and everything. They'd put the backup light camera on it too.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it was rear camera ready, and I was talking to somebody today, and they said years ago when they didn't want it on there, they ended up getting it on there, and they ended up loving it after they had it. They won't have it not on there now. Okay.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, you can't see when you're back to the seat up.
Roger, kind of sounds like you're recommending the Bobcat.
Yeah, just a few points I wanted to make. The convenience location, like Rod said, just I'm picturing driving the dump truck down there and having them load an attachment in and having it back ready to go within 30 minutes, ready to go. And then just for an old guy like me, they got the H control option where the cat is just strictly pilot, which I still need to learn how to run. But
I was going to say,
I know I need
this because you won't learn the controls.
But this way I will be able to take my time and learn. But one of the main things was the cat would not be arriving till winter at the earliest. And I have the skid loader sitting in my shop right now. It's a lot of fun to be able to run it, and I got a lot of projects lined up. So, but as far as that, I mean, they're both good units, but I'm definitely leaning towards the Bobcat myself.
Are they cabbed as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
So you can use them all winter long?
Yep.
Sure.
So, is there anything else you're thinking about getting for it? I mean, is there any advantage to? I mean, are we wanting like a snow pusher or something for it? That'd be advantage of getting it now while we buy everything else, or?
No, I mean, forks I'm getting right off the bat because I mean they're absolute necessity, and then definitely a sweeper. I'm looking at we rent a sweeper 3 or 4 times a year right now, and especially with the tar and chip program now we have. I mean, we're constantly battling leftover rock getting in people's yards. And
well, yeah, you can go. Yeah, you can capture that before it gets to the yards. So you're looking for
sweeping a long ways. So.
Yeah.
So, but we can always purchase that down the road instead of taking the big chunk at once. I mean, that's be something to think about. Augers and brush cutters, stuff like that would probably be just on a rental basis.
Sure. But the sweeper's something you'd like to own then eventually.
I think so. I think there's a good call for it. So
yeah, I agree.
$5,000. It doesn't take long rental wise to pay that. So.
That's what one of the pickup sweep buckets is $5,000.
Yeah. Yep. The sweep will leave less.
Oh, really?
That's gone up.
Yeah.
And that's not too bad. Takes quite a few 250s to make 5,000.
20.
Yeah. Of course, that's $1,000 a year if we use.
You'd probably sweep more often if you had it. You'd go around as stuff get loose and do it more often if it was sitting there.
Yeah, it would definitely be nice to have.
Yeah.
We want to spend another $5,000 after we.
He said we had 75.
I've got some other things coming on the agenda. So sit tight.
Kidding.
So
I'm definitely not pushing for. I'm definitely not pushing for a sweeper this year, but
okay.
You're right. If it was sitting there, we would use it more. Just like a skid loader.
So with adding the 650 to the quote that we have, I come up with a number of $55,374.
I make a motion that we buy the Bobcat for whatever that was, 55,000.
Does that include tax?
Well, I'm assuming this is tax included, isn't it, Roger?
Wait a minute. Or government?
Well, we don't have tax.
We won't have
Could be
tax.
tax exempt, I figured.
Yeah. It is.
So
Roger's on top of it.
Why'd you ask me that question?
55. I wasn't thinking. I'm so used to doing other work.
I'll second. Good.
Another sheet. Motion by Weaver, second by Johnson. Any further discussion?
Did that motion include the extended warranty?
Yes, that includes the price.
Okay.
Yeah, that price of $55,374 included the $650 extended warranty. So they were going to split with us. Not the $650 they were going to split with us, but the $13 they were going to split with us, and they're going to $650. Just so everybody knows. Any further discussion? Roll call it. Weaver?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
That's all I have.
Roger, you're welcome to stick around, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
Hey, I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much. We'll put it to good use.
He's probably gonna go out there right now.
Guess what? We can stay together. I'm gonna leave you in the garage.
Yeah.
No, he's in his house.
And so is the Bobcat.
I'd like to see us try to tell his wife why that's in there.
On her side of the bed.
Economic development, Mr. Sidak?
Sent out some emails to the various taxing bodies, and so far everyone but the library has gotten back to me saying they will send representatives for the Community and Economic Development Council.
Yeah.
How many people are on this? Oh, never mind. I was thinking the TIF. Never mind. I was thinking something different.
There's still,
Yeah.
what do we do, like put something in the classifieds for the at-large members? We're still looking for 2 at-large members to be appointed by the mayor and confirmed by us. But once I have everybody, we'll start talking about. I'm foreseeing it being like a once a month sort of meeting thing. But yeah, that's in the works.
And it is a voluntary position.
Yes, they
For
will
the
not be
at-large.
getting paid. No compensation. That's it for my report.
If it helps to get volunteers, we can probably get by with quarterly to start with. That means they don't have to meet 4 times a year. So.
And then spring the monthly meetings as special
Yeah.
meetings on them afterwards.
It's kind of like boiling the frog. We'll ease into that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just bait and switch them.
And I'll ask a couple of other residents I know.
Oh, is that something we should have Tracy post online?
Is there stipulations as to how long they need to live here before they can?
I don't think there's anything in the.
There's length of term on the website. I believe it's 2 years.
We didn't have any criteria written up for how long they have to be here.
But they have.
This is the TIF and BDD spending stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so
BDD.
that's what I thought it was.
So it would be somebody from the school, somebody from park district, somebody from
All the taxing
the
bodies.
library, somebody from fire department, somebody from here, which would be Zach.
Megan Welker said she would be the representative for the park district. Dr. Chatterton, superintendent of the school, said he would be the representative. I believe it was David Tuttle said they'll send somebody's contact information to me. He's from the fire department. And then, like I said, nothing from the library yet.
So the first meeting would probably just be very basic stuff, reminding them what TIF and BDD
Icebreaker games
are. Show them the
Trust fall.
yeah trust fall. Show them the financials of where we're at. Talk about the role of the committee and so forth. Eventually, the primary reason it came up was because of TIF dollars. The taxing bodies wanted to have some input into how those dollars eventually are going to be allocated. They don't have say. Ultimately, this board has say, but they can provide opinion.
And ultimately, the farther we get into the TIF, the more
Correct.
relevant their work will be when there's money there. You know, and chances for bigger projects. So
the reason we felt like doing it now is we were starting to get some questions from like Zach, Chatterton, and others about spending BDD dollars with the park district and so forth. So we just want to make sure everybody understands.
who from Dr. Chatterton?
Yeah. He just wanted to make sure that
The school
just
had
like
a
with
voice.
Farmington, the school had a voice into that. Not into the BDD, but he was confused as to which dollars were being spent. So.
See
Do
against
they
it?
get a percentage back?
No, not at all. He just said he was just reminding us that we made a commitment to
Oh,
have
yeah.
them involved, and he wanted to make sure he was not missing something.
On to other business. Village of Hennessy board meeting time change proposal. Before you is the amended ordinance, moving our start times from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. We need to look over that.
We'll make a motion that we accept an ordinance amending the village code of the Village of Hannah City to change the meeting time of the regular meetings of the Board of Trustees.
I have a motion by Sinek,
Second.
second by Johnson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion carries. So that will be starting with our next board meeting.
We give that an ordinance. Oh, it's a one.
That'll be ordinance 22-05-01.
Okay, so in the packet, you've got two quotes from Pearl Technology for IT work. These are, I went to Kronos and I went to, gosh, I can't think of blanking on the other name of the company. But we ended up getting three quotes looking at two things. One is upgrading the network security for the village hall. Basically, that's the first statement you look at. The total cost is around $5,000. $4,000 of that is hardware, meaning we're buying a commercial grade firewall. I'm talking outside of my knowledge base here, so jump in if I say something wrong. And then a switch. Basically, we really don't have a firewall today. So basically what this does is puts us, at least from a hardware perspective, in position to protect ourselves from any outsiders trying to get into our information. And then once we get to this point, I think, and with the new computers, which is the next quote, I think technologically we're pretty much where we want to be. I don't think there's anything more we'll need to do. We do have a proposal eventually coming where we're going to replace the phone system and go to fiber and make that cost neutral, but that won't happen for another 9 months. So this is basically, I don't know if you want to speak to it at all.
No.
Okay. Well, Tony works for Pearl, so there's a conflict of interest there, and I'm here to tell you that we looked at multiple companies. He wasn't involved in this. I worked with Pearl, another person at Pearl directly, so there was no conflict there. We had talked about doing kind of an ongoing managed service agreement before, and that did not come up for a vote. You guys weren't for that, and I think in hindsight that was the right decision. Because I don't think we're at a place where we need that, but I do believe this hardware will help protect us, and it's something that we need to do, and it's money that I was going to take out of that $75,000 surplus.
So what's the two things here?
The second thing is we had already bought the computers and monitors, the new computers and monitors, upgrading them, and it's what I didn't include in that quote is the installation. So them coming out and taking the old computers out, set everything up, getting us all hooked into the network and so forth. So
That's the 1620 then.
That's the 1629, and then the 4,000 for the hardware and another $1,000 worth of labor getting the stuff installed.
Gotcha.
So eventually, in 6 months, the computer, everything's so backward. We still don't have the monitors. I don't care how long ago it was we approved the computers, so we don't even have them yet. And then they said this is probably going to take 6 months to get the network security stuff in here. But hopefully, 6, 8, 9 months from now, we'll have all the new computers in place and the network guarded. Yeah.
We got everybody new monitors with the computers.
We did.
We get dual monitor setups, didn't we?
Yeah. And then Roger took the laptop that Lori used to use because she didn't need it. So Roger's got his computer. I'm moving just to the laptop. I'm not even going to replace my desktop, so that doesn't need to be there. And when we go to the new phones as well, we're only going to get 2 mega use phones, one for Lori, one for Cassandra, and one for Tracy, and then just a basic phone for Jim, and that's it.
So we'll have to take these one at a time. So the first one is Brian has here is an IT network security upgrade proposal, which is the bigger of the two.
This is basically all hardware installation, or it looks like there's subscriptions on here too.
Speak.
You can answer technical questions. That's not complicated.
Yeah,
You're not advocating for it.
Yes, the Palo Alto firewall that includes the three-year paid subscription. So if for any reason the firewall should fail, it's next business day or when they can drop ship us one out, have them come out and replace it free of charge. It also includes the URL filtering, which is everybody knows, HTTPS. Make sure all those.
We don't all know.
Okay, all those www dot whatever. Okay. It helps with all the malicious ones that are sent through emails and through adult content sites, victim sites, things like that. Those are automatically blacklisted.
Man. So will I not get stuff that I'm afraid to click on anymore?
No, you'll still get that.
Yeah.
There's almost that. And then that also includes the Switch, which is a subscription to Cisco SmartNet for that, which has basically that's the warranty on it, the subscription on it. And
so
then
is this just for the computers here, or does this back up like our laptops?
Computers are already a different thing.
No, she's saying it is the protection, the firewall. It would be for anything that's using our system in here. Would be
internally.
Okay, because I still don't understand if my computer's shared or not. I don't know. Like when I come in and log in here,
you'd be protected.
Does all my stuff log down to you guys? Like, because you had originally said my stuff was going to get backed up. Because I had problems with my documents.
He can set you up to save to the share drive like he did me. I don't know whether he's done that yet.
Oh, okay. So that's something different than what this is.
Right. But if you are sharing to that stuff would be protected by this stuff.
Okay.
Because it would be behind.
So if I download something and it's infected, your firewall will kick it out. Is that how that works?
No, anything that's saved on your
Get out of here.
If something saved on your desktop, it would not be protected. Anything saved to the network would be protected.
Okay. Well, because I have documents I'd like to share with them.
Sure.
I mean, I emailed them the documents.
You need to set her up the way you set me up.
She'd ever have time.
When you're talking about subscriptions, is that annual fees?
The Cisco Switch is a 1-year subscription. The Palo Alto is a 3-year subscription.
What's the annual cost?
It's like 118. Is it down?
Oh, yeah, see that. Yeah, 118.
Yes, the Cisco SmartNet, and Cisco for some reason does not do a 3-year anymore. So it's $118.
What's the one below that, the outlets?
The backup, the UPS, backup USB Pro 1500 volt.
Yeah, what is this?
That's a surge. Basically, it's a big universal power supply. You plug it in, you plug everything into that. So if something should get hit by lightning, hopefully that gets it and takes the brunt of it.
So you got a big surge protector.
And it's also, power goes out, it still will run for
15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very small, so 15 minutes would be your max,
Yeah.
depending on the load on it.
It's not an immediate blackout of everything that's up to it, though. Yeah, depending on what's plugged into it.
Yeah, just as if, if we lost power in here, the TV would immediately go out. But if it was plugged into UPS, it would stay on until the UPS drained to a certain percentage or drained all the way down. Then it would shut down.
They make big one. I mean, they make something you can run like a day afterwards.
They make UPSs the size of this room.
Oh, yeah. We used to have some on computers. The tech guys would steal them. The one guy
The
took one home for his fish tank in case power ever went out when he was out of town for work and run his fish tank for like a week. He was gone. That was hilarious.
And I just wanted to, on the, if we need this thing or not, we did all kind of receive emails before the mayor switched, and it was not the mayor that was sending out emails. It was somebody asking for money. So yeah, the system is, we are hoping that it will not let people into our actual system. That's what that's all for. Because we get, anybody can send us an email where we have that information's out there. I'm pretty sure I got scammed on the Freedom of Information because they did not respond after I gave them. I don't think they liked what I responded, but it did kind of freak me out. So I don't know if they were looking for information or not.
So the Cisco thing's a subscription, and then the Palo Alto Networks is one. Threat Prevention Advanced Bureau Partner Enabled Premium Support 3-year. What's that?
That's the same thing. That's for the Palo Alto. It's the premium support for the URL web filtering. If there is anything that gets through, they'll help do the blacklisting automatically through all the third-party vendors. So there's a site that's going around that everybody's sending through emails and stuff like that.
In the Palo Alto's a 3-year too?
Yeah, it's a firewall.
Okay.
So that's the $2,800 for 3 years.
Is that the subscription? The ongoing?
Plus,
Well, it's the actual
plus
firewall.
$118 on the other page for the Cisco Smart.
Oh,
I think they're trying to get to what the ongoing subscription costs.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what are we paying every year for subscriptions to this thing. Looks like
well, I would
about
say
$3,000
for the firewall,
$5,000 a year.
is this Palo Alto, is that the 873, is that a hardware?
The $873
Or is
Palo
that,
Alto PA220 is a physical hardware appliance.
okay.
Oh, so the Palo Alto Networks PA220 thing, that's the actual appliance. That's the okay, then the 3 below it are all involved with it that let it work then basically, right?
Yes.
Each figure.
1940.
Yeah.
Every 3 years.
1950 every 3.
1940 every 3 years.
Yeah, to basically give the Palo Alto network what it takes to run.
So that's 36 months. $54 a month, 53.80.
$53.80 a month.
53.88 a month.
Which is less than the my PC subscription.
Yeah.
I just canceled today.
That was, we were paying $166 for that, we canceled today. It was what Lori and Brian were using to remote in and everything, so we canceled it today, so.
Because they don't need the.
Brian
Well,
doesn't
what he did is he fixed it by giving me, now when I save to the actual shared drive. I have an icon on my desk. So I don't
No
have
matter
to-
where he's at, he's going to
actually
share
not,
drive.
well, wherever he's at, he's saving to, the team's SharePoint site. So now.
Yeah, it's web-based.
Yeah, so wherever he goes, he's saving his document, it goes there.
So I don't have to remote in anymore to get into the.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Which eventually is something we want to probably do, is move away from the physical device here, move all that stuff into SharePoint, into Teams. So if you need to look at something, you don't have to come up here and connect, you can just get in and it's right there.
Gotcha.
It'll be authenticated through your 365.
Which is why I don't need my desktop anymore. So I don't have to buy me a desktop because I can just work everything out right off of this.
And we wiped out 166 a month, and then we'll be able to connect remotely and all that stuff will be protected then.
Right.
And that's what you need. We need to get you hooked
Yeah.
up with this.
And then also, with the Palo Alto, it does technically speaking, and it does come with it, is offers remote support so you can connect to it. So if for some reason there's a file that she had to get off Cassandra's computer or something, she could remote in, or if we're still using that, she could remote into the network here and get to that shared drive until then, if we ever move away from that.
Gotcha.
For me, the biggest thing is this is, in my view, pretty basic stuff to avoid getting hacked and winding up with some sort of, what's the virus where ransom virus or
Ransomware.
something where they ask you, now you want your data back, you got to pay us.
We had that at our company. We're a small company. They still did it to us. It took a couple days for our IT guy to get everything backed up. He got it backed up someplace else, but to restore our server so we could work. All right.
So how would I word this? I make a motion, we accept the IT network security upgrade proposal.
Yep.
I make that motion.
A motion by SIDAC.
Second.
Second by Johnson. Any further discussion? Roll call that. Pearson,
Yes.
SIDAC,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The second one basically is my fault. When we bought the computers, I didn't include the labor to have them come out and install them and get all the information transferred over from the existing computers and so forth. So that's what that 1620 is for.
I'll make that motion to take the new computer installation proposal as submitted.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by SIDAC. Any further discussion? SIDAC, or we'll call it SIDAC.
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay. At this time, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Illinois CS 120/2, subsection C, subsection 1, the employment compensation of specific employees.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by SIDAC. All those in favor signify by, do I have to roll call that? Yeah, okay. So Johnson,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
SIDAC,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Nice seeing
we're
you.
signing off to go into executive session